Y'all, is Cody saying he ain't getting enough from Robin? I really want to know what y'all think. So let me get this out real quick before we start into this review. During a conversation at the table between Cody and Robin, let me bring it up. Robin said, "We've been talking about premarital counseling. It hasn't been easy, especially with your parents. We want to make our marriage as strong as possible, right?" Cody said it hasn't been easy for the last 3 years. Then Robin turned around and said, family members asked if I'll live plural marriage again, and that's a big decision. And Cody said, I don't know if I could do that again, right? We tried, we failed, it was painful. Then he turns around and makes this comment, which makes me believe that Cody just ain't getting enough. And this was a warning shot at Robin. He said the following: a polygamous man is getting more than he wants. A monogamous man isn't getting enough. Shots fired at Robin. A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers, and my nieces and nephews, and all the y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for auntie advice. Sweet old. It's time for auntie advice. It's time for auntie advice. Well, welcome back, everybody. And this is Auntie, and I am here to do my review of Sister Wives Season 20, Episode 1, Why I Want to Be a Monogamist. Child. Did y'all contemplate? Did I give y'all enough time to think that Cody was throwing shade at Robin about not giving him enough of that good old loving? He was talking about how much he was getting versus how much he is getting. And y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all thought about it. Cause sis, I thought that it was, a little shady, a little cold, a little breezy. I don't know. Y'all let me know. So let me go ahead on and start this thing off right. So, of course, at the beginning, we always have to hear from Cody. And Cody says that he has been having days where he feels vengeful and angry, and other days when he feels benevolent and kind. And I thought about that word benevolent. Like the audacity of Cody. Hold on, let me give you all the definition of benevolence. Okay? Because this man thinks he's the king. He thinks he's the king. Yes, he does. And he is not. Benevolent means to show kindness, goodwill, or desire to do good for others. Like he's some king sitting on the throne where he has to show kindness to the people that are around him and goodwill. Like he's donating his time and his money to somebody. He's giving so much compassion. He's a father and a husband. And he's supposed to be doing exactly what he is doing. How do you start something off like that? Now we know that we are in the middle of some things, and when we come back on, we're in the middle of some things. We behind time, but we ahead of time, right? So there's some things that we already know that has transpired, and some things that have still yet to be, shown. I don't know why they go back like this. So he says that his days have become a roller coaster. He said the kids are getting ready for school. Solomon's was in the shower. And, he says that he's got about a half hour later than Ari, right? So he thinks that things are relatively good between him and Janelle. He indicates that once in a blue moon, he talks to her, and even more rare, he talks to Meri. He said with Meri, he really don't know, what he really does struggle to talk to her. And he said, but he don't blame Meri for that, but it doesn't make his life any easier. And what Cody doesn't realize is that the one that's really the straight shooter, the one that really will stick it to him, the one that everybody respects is Janelle. And Janelle has a way of throwing that shade out there where Meri is just goofy. I could not believe that we had to waste this episode watching Meri try to find a boyfriend. How about Meri get some other things together first? Like get that little cottage together, that the Airbnb, that she got from her mother, that she had brought for her mother, whatever. How about she do that? I just think that Meri is just unattractive. And I think she's unattractive because of the way that she has handled things, the way she has treated people, and in my opinion, the way she throw a rock and hide her hand. But anyway, we ain't talking about Meri right now because I can go all the way down the road on Meri. I just don't like her. I've had people to actually ask me what it is I don't like about her. I don't like the shady stuff that she do. So he says, with Christine, he said they text a little about Truly, basically they deal with mother, father, separated mother and father and stuff like that. They deal with the pickup times that he's going to have him and stuff like that, but they don't talk. Yeah, because Christina moved on. She moved on the infamous porch scene when she sat out there and told everybody she was out of that cab, and he said that you was like a knife to the kidney. So Christine ain't got nothing to say to him about Truly. And I don't know whether or not this was filmed before or after the custody dispute that they had about the little girl. But what Christine is moved on with David. She ain't got nothing to do with Cody. And so he said, so instead of having an amicable, hey, we're not really working out, but have a good life, he got the darker side of Christine. And it's worse and worse until the breakup. And then he gonna sit up there and come out his mouth and say, "Oh, and yeah, by the way, I actually did love them. We knew you did. You better." Oh my God. Okay, Auntie, you gotta calm down. So Christine is at home with David, and they're in the kitchen and everything. And Christine is like, we're going to have Tuscan white bean soup. She's starting to get into cooking in a Tuscan type of style. She says she likes soup in the wintertime and all that kind of stuff. David likes soup, and she says that she basically loves being married to him. She loves married life with David, and they basically in their first year of marriage. And so David was like, they say a lot of people fight in their first year of marriage, and he said, I think we're doing good. He said, but don't get it twisted. We don't get it twisted. We be going forward, up in here and all of that kind of stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? We be going forward. But for the most part, we got a good relationship. And so Christine was like, I think that applies to young couples that get married. No, it applies to older people too. Okay. She said that, basically young people are still figuring it out. And if you looked at Love is Blind Brazil 50 and over, then you know that people be still having problems. Members, let me know if y'all want me to do that downtown in the membership. So David is like, when you're older, you just don't care about little stuff. But David just seems like he's just the kind of guy that, goes along with the get along and stuff like that. He seems like he's a fantastic person. And so Christine was like, their first year was tough in some ways, between the two of them. And Garrison's passing, added a lot onto that. And she was like, that really was rough. And so David agreed with her. Christine got emotional and stuff like that. And she was like, I miss him every day. And then when she said every day the second time, it's almost like that afterthought that you get. And, she started crying and stuff. And so, Christine said, she felt like it was hard to see how everybody had handled his passing, and that there was just a lot of raw emotions. And so Christine mentioned that she lives in Utah now. She said Janelle lives in North Carolina, Maddie's there with her, and she said and a lot of the kids still live in Utah. Gwendolyn still lives in Flagstaff, and with Cody and Robin. And she said, Gwendolyn still lives in Flagstaff, and Cody, Robin, and Meri have all moved. And she was saying Robin and Cody are still in Flagstaff. Meri is in Parowan, I think, y'all. But she said basically everybody kind of living like a separate life. So then we traveled down to the Airbnb, where Meri is saying, it's been about a year and a half that she's been there and things are good. She likes her life, except for she wants to find a man. Her friend was like, either you're looking like you just rolled out of bed or you trying to find yourself a man, right? What are you doing? So Meri couldn't do nothing but laugh about it, right? She was like, I do have some interactions with different members of the family at different times. She said that she got good relationships with some, and with other ones it's non-existent. And I don't blame the ones that's non-existent with Meri, because I don't think that I would want to deal with her either. Then we go down to Coyote Pass, where Cody, saying that, this has just been an ongoing situation, that he got to clean up Coyote Pass. And it's something that, neither Janelle or Meri are going to do. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, what Robin going to do? Why you worrying about what Meri and I'm going to do? And then the thing about it, when I went to Cody Pass, I didn't see a whole lot of stuff. He trying to make it, try to imply that because, Janelle had her trailer down there at one point, that the joint is a rack. I ain't seen no rack. Did y'all see a rack? I ain't seen no rack. So why put this on Meri and Janelle? You got the majority of the land. You clean that mother up if it need to be cleaned up. See, I got to calm down. I gotta calm down, okay? He talking about, so, she left her. There's a lot of stuff left behind by Janelle, things she used in her RV, and they expect me to do all this cleanup on this place. He said, but he ain't even motivated to do it. Then don't do it. Hire somebody to do it. You and Robin got all that money. Ain't y'all sitting in a 2 point something million home? And they gonna sit up there talking about how they haven't been kind to him. Janelle was like, look, he just trying to find. Janelle said he just trying to find anything to put on me. Like it's her responsibility with the property. She was like, just take care of this, okay? She said, that mess is yours from your little failed business. Go take care of your other stuff, okay? What you say, Sabrina R? Sabrina R said, I can't stand Cody and Robin. Okay? He had a business. He had some stuff that was going on down there. That's his stuff. Janelle said, just go ahead and clean the I mean, you ain't gonna clean it up, don't clean it up. So we see Janelle, being grandmother and everything. She making some little cinnamon rolls out the little can. Bless her heart. She said, I'm the grandma and I could cook, the little fun stuff for the kids and stuff, right? She's sitting around talking to her kids about it and stuff. And she just her daughter was like, it's just great having you here. So, Janelle, of course we all know, has brought some land down in North Carolina. She said she never thought it before. She said it just wasn't one of those states that she even imagined herself ever living in, but she loves it. She said she loves the fact that she gets 4 seasons and basically everything that she needs, right? She said that she has been really trying to put herself in situations where she can meet people. She's been going to like a community events, classes and stuff like that, at the coffee shop, cooking classes, cooking stores. She says she's just trying to get her bearings while she down there in North Carolina, down there with her daughter and her husband. And I think that Janelle is very happy. They showed them, the family coming down and everything. And of course Christine and her husband came down, and they were just having a really great time. They gave them, showed them the blueprints and stuff like that of the land and all of that. And they're going to be having a garden where people can go and sit, who are bereaved, the bereaved and stuff like that, people that just need some tranquility. And it's going to be in Garrison's honor and stuff like that. And I thought that that was nice. And Janelle was like, it don't make a difference. It's neither here nor there, right? It's just this farm is this land is going to always have something on it from Garrison, right? I just was like, whew, it's just so sad. And so, anyway, Christine and Janelle, they start talking about the Coyote Pass. And they was like, Janelle was like, Coyote Pass is still a pain in my ass, okay? And so Christine was like, you downsized. And Janelle was like, no, when I married Cody, she said, I felt a call and I had a strong spiritual witness. I was supposed to marry him. She says, but I don't feel that pull anymore towards plural marriage. And so Christine was like, how fast it sells doesn't matter. We just want to get this resolved. And I'm just sitting up there thinking to myself, Christine ain't got nothing to do with the land. Janelle said, it isn't all about fairness. It's only what applies to Cody Brown. um, Let me see. One of the things that Janelle has been talking about, and I think that she probably needs to advocate for it, is Janelle's been talking about, the sister wives and the unfair treatment, especially as it relates to the finances and stuff like that. And she was like, she had thought about, like the spiritual aspect of the relationship and stuff like that. And Janelle was like, if if polygamy were legal and wives had a claim to their husband's assets, she said it would probably make polygamy go away. She was like, ain't no man nowhere on this earth going to want to divide his estate 4 or 5 ways. Okay. And so Janelle also was talking about, being grateful and stuff like that, that she went to North Carolina after Garrison's death. Because she said if she had stayed in Flagstaff, it would have been harder for her to get over it. She said that Wyoming was the right place to bury him. And she was, basically happy that everybody was able to make it. She says that they were talking about him, and she said it feels like he is still present. She said during the day, she's good. But she said at night, when it's quiet or a picture pops up on her phone, she ain't so good. And that's so understandable because it has not been long since we lost Garrison, right? But she said that being around the grandkids is therapeutic for her. And I just really love that. So they had a barbecue downtown at Meri's house, and Christine Leon, and I think it was McKelty. I always get the girls' names mixed up, but they were saying after they had a barbecue, and Leon McKelty, they had started talking and was just unpacking everything like about Garrison's death. And they were saying how it really did reveal a lot. They said, with Cody, they was angry at the way things happened, but that they took control on how to react and how to reciprocate, and they're still deciding on how to do that. And Christine was like, I'm so sad for him, but I'm really sad for Robin's kids. And so McKelty was like, look, if it was ever time, if I ever got an opportunity, so Leon is fine with it, right? Leon is kind of like basically past this stuff, right? She's not holding no whole bunch of grudges and stuff like that. I think that she just made her peace in her own way. And McKelty, and I think it was McKelty, y'all. But McKelty basically was like, if I ever talk to Robin kids, I tell them I have nothing against you. And if I ever cause you any pain, I'm sorry. And that's the truth. And Leon was like, they need to hear that. They need to know you don't hold anything against them. And so McKelty was like, I would love to sit down with them. I just don't know exactly what I say, but I'd start somewhere. And Leon was like, so do you want reconciliation? And she was like, I do, with all of them. You know what I'm saying? And McKelty was like, it's hard enough. Everybody's hurting, and the kids especially, right? And she said they've been caught in the middle, but if there's a chance of healing, it has to start with words like that. And I just really thought that what you saying, boo boo? You said his daughter is crying about many relationships, and the mothers are crying about their sons that passed, and Cody's thinking about sleeping with Robin, was worried about his son. um okay, it was Maddie. It was Madison. Okay, thank you. I knew it was one of the M's. It was Maddie, y'all. So please forgive me for saying McKelty. But the thing about it is, I think that, Cody had already, in my opinion, had made his decision. And I had just thought about this when all this stuff was going on. And basically, Cody, in my opinion, had made his decision during COVID that he did not want to have a relationship with his wives or his kids. And I think that that is why he puts so much pressure on the boys, which he doesn't know, like really broke his boys down. But I think that, he needed to, it's just like, how you're around somebody and they start a whole bunch of chaos and confusion because they don't know how to be at peace with people, and they don't know how to say what it is that's really on their mind and what their intentions are. And so I really do believe that Cody started a lot of the stuff doing COVID with the boys. Can't come over here, you can't do this, we gotta stand outside, just all that old bull crap, right? Because he really needed to be able to separate. And he knew that, especially Janelle's boys, right, was going to take her side. They was going to be behind their mother, come hook or high water, come hell or high water. They were going to be on their mother's side. And so he, in my opinion, caused this tension and stuff like that between his sons. But anyway, so Cody, of course, they always got to get him a say so on stuff. I think that sometimes they just need to let stuff go. When Madison and Leon was sitting up there talking, let it go. But no, they got to go back to Cody Cody, and he's talking about he want a better relationship with his children that he had with those ex-wives. And they're going to talk about he's compartmentalized the heartbreak. What does that mean? So let me look up compartmentalize, since he's saying that this is what he do. Let's just look it up. Let's just look it up. Oh, son of a. So compartmentalize is to separate your thoughts, emotions, or responsibility into separate boxes. So you take your thoughts, put them right here, your emotions, put them in that box, and your responsibility in this little box. Have we seen Cody? compartmentalize anything? They're all it compartment to compartmentalize. It says that it got to be all these little things got to be in these separate boxes so they don't overlap in your mind. They say it's like mentally putting something on a shelf, closing the door so you can function without dealing with it all at once. We ain't seen Cody deal with nothing. So ChatGPT is saying when Cody said compartmentalize the heartbreak, what he meant was he pushed his pain into a mental box. No, he didn't. He lashed out at everybody he got an opportunity to, even with Robin when they were standing downtown at the house in the snow and she was telling him that he needed to have a relationship with his kids. Cody did not have any pain pushed down. His pain came out whenever he had an opportunity for it to come out. What had happened was the wives had walked away from Cody, so he never had the opportunity to treat them like exactly. Megan said all he compartmentalized was his excuses. As she should, because he sure did call them sister witches. Who says stuff like that? Cody never compartmentalized anything. When? When did we get an opportunity to see Cody do that? Was that the kidney and the knife and the kidney comment he made? They said they just put it in the middle and close it off until instead of fully processing it so he could keep moving forward without breaking down. Cody has broken down. It's not a healthy coping mechanism, right? To always compartmentalize, especially when you got 100 kids who still needed you. We ain't even gonna go into Garrett. We're not gonna go into the kids and stuff like that, right? Because I can go on a long rant and we'd be out here all night long. But Cody's full of some bullshit. Cody said he would love healing with every single person. He wanted to be healed with Meri. He wants to heal with Janelle and Christine, and of course all his children. But then he puts this on it. So but canceled out what I just said. That Cody loves would want to he would love to be healed with Meri, Janelle, Christine, and all his children. Because he put a but on it. So this is what Cody really thinks. I'm at an impasse because healing can only happen on their terms. That's what Cody is. Cody wants the healing to happen on his terms. He said he'd absolutely love it if Robin, Christine, Janelle, and Meri could all get to a place where they can just be kind and civil to each other. He said, but the healing requires trust. Yeah, because don't nobody trust Robin. Meri said that they all need to see each other again, and not around a funeral. So, they can all heal and stuff like that. I can't stand Meri. Oh my God. Christine said that she's still learning to see Cody for who he is. She's trying to understand. Maybe he didn't know how to show up and maybe he's hurting. Meri goes out speed dating. I ain't even care. Cody and Robin goes to a restaurant and all of that kind of stuff, right? And, basically, she brings up the fact that they had been talking about premarital counseling and that it hasn't been easy, especially, with the parents. They want to, Cody says that it hasn't been easy for the last years. And so Robin says family members have to ask her whether or not she's going to live like a pro marriage again. And that's a big decision. And Cody says he doesn't think that he could do it again. So Robin said if we ever did, she would have to be Cody said she would have to be an absolute diamond. He told about not just looks but devotion. She has to be somebody who will worship and adore Robin. He said she would have to adore Robin to the point so much that he'd never have to worry about this woman competing with her. What kind of bullshit is that? So do he want the woman coming gay? Do he want her coming gay? Like, what do he want? Robin said that's still gonna create stress for me. She wanna know whether or not the woman gonna take it seriously. Cody said his biggest fear is losing what we already have. Cody wants monogamy. Robin said, okay, that works for me. He was like, what do you mean that works for? No, she was like, no, I said that works for me. Robin don't want to be in no monogamous relationship with Cody at all. At all. When Cody sat there and was talking about having, being with all those women, and he felt like he was overworking and he was just a tool. And then they talking about premarital marriage, and when he said a polygamous man is getting more than he wants, and a monogamous man, which is what he is now, isn't getting enough. He missed all of that as he used to get. Robert said, "That's not funny." Cody says he knows that he being crass and an ass, but if he's honest with himself, that's how he feels. Robin said, okay, well, you talking about men want this, women want a commitment. They want tenderness, love, honesty, companionship. And it has to be more than that. Cody comes out his old trick bag and says, if I ever tried this again, she would have to be an absolute diamond and worship the ground Robin walk on. Cody could not deal with two women who trust each other. If this woman adored Robin and Robin adored this woman and they put their two heads together, Cody would split that relationship up because that's exactly what he did with Robin and Meri's relationship. The both of them was tight, but Robin was still doing sneaky stuff. Because I'm gonna tell you, I will never ever forget when Robin went out and they found out doing a tell all that she had went and got her wedding dress with Cody. Robert has always been a slick, okay? Always. And for him to say with your sister witches, I'm glad Janelle is putting shirts out there because she should. They don't, this monogamy is not going to work out because this is not what Robin wanted. Robin had the audacity to say that she has so many men who was chasing after her. Robin, you don't even have no lips. Her lips look like a muppet. Them joints be disappearing like a month. Okay? It just is what it is. Anyway, y'all, that's the end of my review. I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. I got to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's almost 12, and I still got stuff I got to take care of. I thank you all so much for being here with me on a late night. I wanted to make sure I get these done so I can go back to my Deb house and go back to my other reviews. I love you all so much. I need y'all to be safe out there in those streets and in the water. And let peace be with y'all, okay? I know things are a little different and they challenging right now, but stay in peace. Bye, y'all.